I'm really excited to be here today. I've been at Jump for a while now. I just hit my 2 years. I was employee number 6, so I've seen quite a bit of growth here at Jump. It's been such a delight to work here. I am based near Salt Lake City, near our headquarters office, and the thing that makes me most excited about Jump is helping advisors save time and also deliver better outcomes for clients. And I'm excited to talk about how we'll do that today. And so yeah, we'll just dive in. So today we're going to be covering a couple different areas of ways that you can improve your Jump experience and go beyond basic note taking. I'll personally share that everything I talk about today is parts of Jump that I use myself. So I'm a daily Jump user. I don't use it as a financial advisor, but it's still extremely valuable to me. And so I'm excited to share some of the things that I've found to be most useful, some of the ways that you can get more value out of Jump and really use Jump to the fullest extent. And so we're going to be we have a brief overview of what Jump is and what it can do for you. If you're a little bit newer, this will be a great introduction. And if you're a seasoned veteran, this will be, a review for you. And then we'll talk about kind of the meeting life cycle. So what happens before the meeting, scheduling the meeting, after the meeting happens, and the value that can provide you. So we'll just dive in. And throughout this entire presentation, I'll be flipping between this deck and then going back to kind of the in-product experience. So if you have your Jump pulled up, I'll actually be showing you a few ways that you can, like put into practice what I'm describing. So I'll talk about it and then I'll actually show you in the product. So like I said, we're going to be talking about a couple ways that you can go beyond note-taking in Jump. And that's going to start with pre-meeting prep. So if you're using pre-meeting prep today, amazing. And if you're not, we're going to talk about ways that we can have Jump essentially be your preemptive assistant, someone who can preemptively prepare you for meetings and help you walk into every meeting prepared and up to date on all updates on your clients. Then we're going to talk about scheduling meetings from Jump and our new-ish scheduling tool, the ways that you can set that up and link that to the rest of your Jump workflows. And then we're going to talk about point 3 is one of the ones I'm most excited for. We're going to talk about ways that you can use the Jump meeting outputs to kind of draft client deliverables immediately after a meeting. So creating a draft financial plan or doing some more advanced form filling or field filling in your CRM and elsewhere. And so we're going to talk about ways that we can update your system of record and also kind of produce some of those client deliverables more quickly. And then I'm going to talk about ways that you can do all of this outside of the normal meeting flow. So, preparing for a meeting, asking questions about a client, and gathering all of that context in one place that doesn't necessarily need to be structured around a calendar event. And so I'm going to dive in. I'm excited. So what I want to invite you to do throughout the rest of this presentation is to kind of reframe how you think about Jump and kind of expand your imagination beyond just basic note-taking. You may know Jump as a great way to save time on jotting down notes after the meeting or during the meeting, but I really want you to think about Jump as more like your assistant, someone who, is another employee of the firm, someone who is contributing or something that is contributing to overall client success. And so in addition to capturing a meeting, Jump is helping you to execute on actions that are generated from a client conversation and provide some of the deliverables that are required from that, and then also help you prepare for the next time and provide all the context needed. And so as you're kind of observing and imbibing this information today, I really invite you to get creative about the ways that you can really customize your Jump experience to match what your firm needs. So I'm going to get started with pre-meeting prep. If you use it already, like I said, amazing. But often I think pre-meeting prep is maybe not necessarily used as much as meeting note taking. And so Jump can, with your connected integrations, Jump can pull from your CRM, from your financial planning software, from your tax planning software, and kind of can join all of this information in one place so that you're not swiveling between software platforms. We can also surface the questions that you care about most. So, your client's history and recent emails and various open questions that might need to be covered in the meeting. And then also surface anything that needs to be completed before you meet with them. So maybe there were 2 out of 20 outstanding tasks that hadn't been completed yet. You can make sure that those are done before the meeting starts. So you're starting with a blank slate. And this can be delivered whenever you need to. It says here that it can be delivered minutes before the meeting, if that's useful to you, but we can also customize how far in advance you receive this brief. And so I'm going to show you an example of what this looks like in the product. So this is a demo account. Nothing here that you see is real client data. And we can see here that our advisor, Ted Lasso, is about to meet with Stephen Hatch actually today in about 20 minutes. And Jump was able to automatically look through Stephen's record in Salesforce and write Capital to pull all of this custom context. So these are questions that we set up in Ted Lasso's account to look for. And so it's pulling, we've got an account snapshot. So give me an update on recent meetings, tell me about the client goals and top priorities. So these are all things that Jump is able to pull together and deliver to you. And this is available in Jump. This is also available if you set up your notification settings correctly. You can receive this email brief over email. So there's a lot of different ways that you can configure this. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time showing you where to do that. But our lovely product specialists, I'll rely on them to send the instructions for how to submit customization request if you'd prefer to have our team do it on your behalf. And so this is all managed within your profile and settings and user settings, and you'll go to templates. So this is where you can decide how you want to customize your pre-meeting prep. So I'm going to go to this annual client review. This is a very basic, this might be the pre-meeting prep that you have on your account today. I think it's the default that everyone starts with. And you can see that any question you want to have answered, you can write out in plain text what you want Jump to do with that information. So you can say, I want you to look at my email and my CRM and my financial planning software and my past meetings in Jump, if you've been using for a while. And I want you to tell me about the members of this client's household, or I want you to summarize past concerns they might have had and tell me about their goals. And what's so cool about this is you can actually just test this live. So you can go see, this is a preview of what this exact pre-meeting prep template will produce. And so this is something that you can customize for yourself. You can customize for the rest of your firm. And if you have an existing template that you want Jump to match, you can also match that here in Jump. And so you are more than welcome to come in here and mess around and play with it. You can also submit customization requests to our customization team, and they can build up on your behalf. So we really want to kind of cover both sides of the, I want to do it myself, independent side of the spectrum, and the white glove, take care of it on my behalf. And so, I highly recommend, and truly, like I said, you can get really, really creative with this. So if you want Jump to pull out more qualitative information, tell me, is this client a good candidate for asking for a referral from? Or are they, were there any past conversations where they mentioned maybe held away assets? Like, there's lots you can do with this. And I really recommend taking full advantage. I'll pause there. Do we have any questions from the chat that I can help answer, or anything like that before I proceed? Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep going. I trust our wonderful product specialists are helping out. Okay, we'll keep moving along here. I'm going to talk a little bit about our meeting scheduling tool. So this is a little bit newer in Jump, and we can provide instructions for how to enable it if it's not already on in your account, but most of you should already have access to this. And so truly it's as simple as any other scheduling tool you might already be using. But what's nice is it's all contained within Jump. So you don't have to leave to go to another tool to manage that scheduling. And so this is managed on your home page within Jump. And so we've got different booking windows here. These are all booking windows to meet with our friend Ted Lasso here. And what's really cool is Jump can also provide, you can put all of these booking links together on a landing page. And so I have this example pulled up. It's really simple, and you can set up questions that you want your clients to answer as they're scheduling meetings with you. So truly, it's, I'm sure most of you are familiar with some kind of scheduling tool. And so it's not too difficult to kind of replicate whatever you've already set up. And if you don't use a scheduling tool today, amazing. You already have one. It's already in Jump. It's already there. And so I highly recommend taking advantage of that, because it works together really nicely with some of the upcoming updates that Jump will be having, where we can be even more proactive about reaching out to clients and scheduling follow-up meetings with them. What's nice as well is if you work in a team structure, or if you have a larger firm, Jump can also accommodate kind of team-based booking windows. So if you need to set it up where there's multiple hosts, or if you need to do some kind of custom setup there's lots of ways that you can configure, I want to be a booking admin for this person. And so this works really nicely with like your admin staff and your operations people as well. Okay, we'll keep moving along here.
Juliet, I am going to pause for just 1 second. We have had a couple questions in the chat, which is wonderful. Thank you for those of you that are participating. It looks like our product specialists, Brittany and Audrey, are actually, for some reason, only able to answer questions that are in the Q&A for this session. So if you go down to the bottom of the webinar, you'll see the Q&A. If you click there and put your question there, they'll be able to get back to you on that. We're going to answer the questions that are coming up in chat too, but you'll get a faster answer if you just ask directly in the Q&A. So thanks.
Perfect. Yeah, feel free to put any questions in that Q&A. And I believe you should be able to see other questions that have been asked and answered in there as well. So it'll be a nice resource to have. Okay, moving along here. This is something that I'm really excited for. So after the meeting is over, if you've already connected your CRM and your financial planning software and your maybe like tax planning software, there's a lot of places that Jump can update both your system of record and be kind of a system of action in providing the first draft of those client deliverables. And so I'm going to spend a little bit of time of talking about both of those. And so I'm going to start with, I think I want to start with our friend Winston Churchill here, one of our financial advising clients. If you have any sort of specific custom fields that you set up in your CRM, Jump is a great tool or a great solution for updating those fields with regularity as you're continuing to meet with clients. And so a great example of this is we have a very basic fact finder kind of set up in this account right here. but you can really get quite advanced with this. I've seen some really, really complicated setups in Jump where you can have Jump pull from the transcript all of the values that you would need to update or create new records in Jump. And so, we've got this basic fact finder, but you can also, I'll see people use like, they'll have like an account overview field in, Wealthbox, for example, and Jump can be used to kind of merge any new information that's been gathered with the meeting from this meeting with the client and update that account overview. So if you've got like a paragraph of like, here is who this client is, what they're all about, what their goals are, what's most important to them, you can use Jump to update that. And so you can overwrite any existing fields. And if you have like a longer text field like that, you can actually, like use Jump to kind of merge with AI, which is really cool. And if you have any, other kind of more complicated field mapping setups, Jump can be your resource for that. If you currently have Jump today set up to sync notes to a place in your CRM that you don't like, we can change that. We can do custom mapping, and I highly recommend reaching out to our wonderful customization team to set up that custom mapping so that we can create the correct note type and record in your CRM that fits your existing process. I'll also say Jump can suggest e-money record updates and right capital record updates. And these are really cool. It's kind of specific to the, I'm going to look for our friend Alex here. Excuse me. It's kind of specific to whatever's talked about in the meeting. And so, if you have 4 out of 20 available records to be updated, Jump is going to intelligently pull out those 4 updates rather than, having you comb through every possible field that can be updated. And so we're going to have this go live. You know what they say about live demos and how they always work smoothly. And so I'll let this finish up and talk a little bit about ways that we can do custom note templates to kind of provide those client deliverables really quickly after the meeting is over. And so I'm going to cruise over to my other example here. So this is an example note template that I've actually set up. And so this is set up to it's using the same kind of way that we process meeting notes in Jump today that you're already familiar with if you're a Jump user. But this provides an opportunity to kind of restructure the content of the meeting and deliver something that kind of provides value to the customer and can be client facing. And so an example of this is I've got a very basic kind of financial plan draft here of, and this might not look how you structure your financial plans, but it's intended to be kind of just a, generic financial plan kind of summary. And so the way I've set this up is after a meeting is run, we have a regular meeting note that can be synced to the CRM. And then we also have this draft financial plan that can be sent to the client. And so, obviously you want to make any changes before it goes out to the client, but I want you to kind of get your wheels turning on ways that you can kind of restructure your notes to produce some of these client assets. Jump can also put together a lot of, you can get really, really customized and really creative with the ways that Jump can produce some of these assets. I've seen people use Jump to, make a draft financial plan like this, make like legacy letters for estate planning. So, you have all the information that you need from the meeting. It's just a matter of restructuring it in a way that, follows a letter format or, has something that's a little bit more official. And when you're ready to send that out, you can export the notes and pull this out. And it will actually just pull out, it's got your firm logo, it's got all of the, all of the different, I mean, it's got quite a few fields here, but it's got all the information you need and kind of in this beautiful presented way. And so I'll pause there. Do we have any other questions that could be helpful to address around this question of customizing your outputs and making that a little bit quicker?
We've got a lot going on in the Q&A, so thank you to
Okay.
everybody who's submitting their questions there, and to Brittany and Audrey for responding there. We'll give Juliet just a moment to catch her breath here, and let Brittany and Audrey catch up a little bit. But I don't see anything specific right now that we need to sort of interrupt you for, Juliet.
Okay, perfect. I will share that eMoney updates just updated. And so I will share a couple details around this. So I think this is like a really cool feature Jump has. Really, it's built in a really smart way where in the meeting that our friend Ted Lasso had with Winston Churchill, there were a couple different updates that are relevant to eMoney that were discussed. And so, we've got a new charity. And so this was just intelligently picked up and filled in for on behalf of our Ted Lasso account. And so this is pretty cool because, you can go click through and review, but all of this was discussed in the meeting. So it really cuts down on that manual entry time that's required for making these kinds of updates. And what's cool as well is, if there's anything that Jump gets wrong, or maybe that you're thinking, oh, I actually don't need to make that update, you can just exempt that specific question or field from the update. So you can say, I don't need to update Clementine's information because this is a demo meeting. This is a fake account, and so I'm going to exclude those updates from when I sync to eMoney. And so I highly recommend getting this, if you haven't already, getting this set up in Jump. It really is a matter of just connecting your eMoney or Right Capital integration. And so if you get that set up in your user settings, then all of the automation is set up automatically. So it's really quick to set up, and you'll start seeing those updates available to be made on the next meeting you have after you connect your integration. So really cool for kind of cutting down on that manual entry time. Okay, let's keep cruising back, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about what you can do after the meeting. After the meeting is over, and kind of maybe you're in between client phases, or I know some people work in kind of like seasons of rush meetings. And so if you don't have things that you need to be accomplishing for clients that are attached to a specific meeting, everything we've talked about has been, you generate pre-meeting prep on the meeting kind of record or upcoming calendar event. You capture the meeting, you turn that into client deliverables. So if you want to do things that are outside of that normal meeting schedule, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways, a couple of different things you can do in Jump as well to kind of execute on those actions. And so most of this will happen in Jump, we have something called the contact record, which it's actually really cool. It kind of combines all the different connected integrations you have so that you can see everything that you need to know about a client in one place without flipping between, different software platforms. And so an example of this contact record, and this is all found just on the left-hand bar here in Jump. An example of a contact record is our friend Grant Holloway here. And so we can see we've got Black Diamond and eMoney connected for Grant. And so I'm going to take you through a couple different parts of this contact page that I think will be really helpful and interesting to you. And so we can see we've got this client overview. This is all pulled from your CRM or elsewhere. And so you can kind of have this one source of truth. Grant doesn't have a ton of information in Salesforce. And so, but what's really cool is, if we were able to pick up, his work phone in a client meeting, we can go then update this fact card on your behalf. And so there's a lot, this kind of serves as, like I said, your source of truth between jump meetings and your integrations. If you are having an upcoming meeting, or if you want to go sync past meetings, you can go review all meetings specific to one client here on this meetings tab on the contact page. And so rather than, looking through all of your past meetings at once, you can say, oh, okay, great. I can look at all my meetings with Grant Holloway. I can see which ones need action, which ones I need to still sync over to my CRM. And so I use this one personally all the time where, if I'm going through once a day or once a week to go sync my meetings and sync my jump outputs, I'll often start from the contact record because I know that I can, if I'm thinking about it in terms of, is everything for this specific person completed rather than everything for this specific meeting, if that makes sense. Likewise, you can also generate pre-meeting prep anytime on demand from this contact record. And so you can select the pre-meeting prep template that you'd like to use. I didn't mention that earlier, but you can use multiple templates, or you can set up multiple different kinds of templates in Jump, depending on the meeting type you're having, or the specific meeting prep needs you have. And so I've seen people do this with, maybe you have an internal meeting prep template that is different from an external meeting prep template. You're meeting with a COI or an accountant or somebody like that. So you can kind of differentiate like that. And so this is a great opportunity to, if you just want to get a super quick overview of the client, maybe they walk into your office unannounced, unprompted, you can run this and it takes maybe a minute or two to generate and pull all that context from your connected integrations. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple extra features that are available on our Grow plan. So everything I've shown you today has been on our Meet plan. So this is, the Jump for note taking, the plan that pretty much everyone already has. And I'm going to talk a little bit about our new Grow plan, and particularly I'm mostly interested in talking about signals that are available on the contact record, like we see here. So signals are an opportunity to pull out from meeting transcripts any opportunities to grow your business. And so these are things like, we are able to pull out held away assets from the client's mouth themselves. Some of them, saying, I have 60,000 in this bank account over here, or we can also pull out the additional signals for opportunities for growth. So that could be opportunities to deepen your relationship with the client, or opportunities to ask for a referral. Maybe they say, I love working with your firm so much, and my mom needs someone who can help out and kind of manage more as she's getting older, things like that. Like that's a signal for asking for a referral and kind of capturing more opportunities for growth. And so these are all available on the contact record and can be synced to your CRM or whatever kind of system of record that you might have connected. And so this is, there's so much more that I could go into on Grow, but I think this is a great example of something that kind of gives you an opportunity to do more proactive work rather than just reactive, and kind of goes beyond the note-taking mandate that we have. I'll also talk a little bit about forms, which are available on our onboard product. And so this kind of works really, really well with meeting scheduling and kind of the pre-meeting experience in Jump. So this goes beyond our basic Meet product, like I said, but this gives you an opportunity. I'll actually show you this example here, where Jump can pull out context from all of the connected software you have and say, maybe we want to look at, let's see, have a good example. Yeah, let's do some onboarding. And so Jump can pull out all the context that you already have in your connected software and pre-fill the form for your client, so that when you're sending a form to a client to be filled out to update their records, you can pre-fill with CRM data and have that. And so you're only asking for the things that you truly don't know and they've never said before. And so this really, really helps with kind of reducing that manual entry time for yourself and for your clients, and kind of gives that really nice personalized touch, and helps them to know that you remember, these things about them, and you're only asking for the things that you don't already know. I want to see if I can pull up an example form to enrich real quick. So this onboarding form, pick our friend advisors, and then we're going to fill out from a past meeting. And so this is pretty sick. I think it's pretty cool where Jump can do that pre-filling for you. So that's a bigger overview of what can be done on the context record. I really encourage you to go explore this if you haven't already. There's so much to be done, and we're constantly making improvements to this, where we can go make sure that specific meetings are tied to specific clients and kind of continue to be that one-stop shop of information. Okay, I'll pause there. Any other, I know I keep pausing for questions, and it seems like our product specialists have got it covered, but
yeah,
anything on the context
there's a lot going on in the Q&A, which we appreciate. Brittany and Audrey are getting to them as they can. And then we'll let Juliet finish and maybe take some I'm trying to get a grasp on what some of the most common questions are. So we'll have you answer those in person here in a moment, Juliet, when you're done with your presentation.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll just finish up here. So I want to just kind of summarize what we've already talked about today, and then put it in context in your daily experience using Jump. And so, as we've said, before the meeting starts, Jump will help you prepare for the meeting. It's going to create like a really beautiful custom brief from your previous meetings, any potential changes that may have happened with those clients' records in your CRM and your financial planning software, and your portfolio software, and things like that. And then also bring up potential questions to be asked, or discussion points to make sure that you cover in the client meeting. So that's happening all before the meeting. Jump will also help you schedule that meeting and kind of abide by your availability, and provide a really simple and easy, clean interface for your clients to work from for scheduling time with you. And then after the meeting is over, Jump will help deliver some of those client-facing assets. So things like drafting a financial plan summary, or a legacy letter, or and also kind of being a true partner in reducing that manual entry time in your CRM and elsewhere. It's going to intelligently pick up on record updates to your financial planning software, and but still keep you in the loop, so that we're not syncing anything on your behalf or sending anything to your clients automatically. And then after the meeting is over, and maybe outside of that meeting life cycle, Jump can still be extremely valuable as a source of truth and a source of meeting prep and client summarization. And also, there's a lot that you can do beyond what's available in the Jump Meet product. Primarily, I mean, there's a lot that happens in Grow, but the one that we talked about today was meeting signals. So, opportunities for growth as a firm that are available within your existing clients, asking for referrals and capturing held away assets. And we also talked about forms, which are available on our onboard product that make it possible to capture any necessary client record updates and preemptively fill those out on behalf of your clients in a secure and really seamless way so that it can cut down on that manual entry time for your clients and for yourself. You'll know it's hard to, chase down information sometimes. And so it's nice when you already have it. You already know it's there and you don't need to either chase down your client to grab that or, sift through however many records you might have on that specific client to fill out those forms. And so there's kind of a manual version of what I described, which is what the financial advisory industry has done for however long. And then the Jump version takes just minutes. I mean, I showed you so much today that can be done within true like seconds after a meeting, before a meeting starts or after a meeting. And so there's so much truly, I mean, I think that's the thing that I keep repeating is there's so much that can be done. And I really want you to just get really imaginative about what Jump can be as an additional employee in your firm, an additional assistant, someone who can kind of preemptively anticipate your needs and help meet those needs to produce better client outcomes. And what this ultimately means is, obviously we want to help you save time for your own sake, but this helps you to deepen your client relationships. I'll give a personal example. This is not a financial advisor, but I had an optometrist growing up that always remembered the tiniest details about my life. And I only went once a year. I only interacted with this doctor very infrequently, but that stuck out to me so much that he was so mindful and, was always asking me about the specific activities I was involved in. And we really believe that as Jump, we want to be the solution that helps enable those deeper client relationships. When you remember and are able to be sufficiently prepped for meetings and you remember these like intimate client details, that really makes a difference. I mean, I know you know this. I'm preaching to the choir here. If you're using Jump, it means that you care about your client's experience. But ultimately, this improves those client relationships. It also builds more trust. If you're able to get stuff done really quickly on behalf of your clients, that builds trust in in the way that you run your firm and the outcomes you're able to deliver. This also helps you to grow AUM. The signals that I talked about are a great example of this, but this also happens in other indirect ways. That those deepened client relationships and faster turnaround time does lead to significant, improvements in your overall ability to grow your practice because you have more time. You can go spend your time doing more activities that will grow your practice. And this also just provides opportunities to, reduce the time to task closure and just improve overall firm performance. And so, like I said, we covered these 4 different workflows and ways to gain efficiency in your workday. And so I'm really excited to see what this group will take from today and the kinds of really cool ways that you can continue to use Jump in meaningful ways to grow your business and improve client outcomes. So like I say on the slide here, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to questions that go beyond what's discussed today or what we were able to get to. I really recommend going to our support team. They are wonderful. They are also based in Salt Lake at our headquarters office. They work alongside me. They are extremely willing to help. And if there's anything that you need potential uh, help with, or you want to do any customization, they are going to be your first place to go to. Okay, I'll stop there, and I would love to do a little bit of Q&A to answer any of your guys' good questions.
Thanks, Juliet. We've had a lot of great questions coming in through the chat and through the Q&A interface. So again, thanks to Brittany and Audrey who are working their way through the Q&A. But there's just a couple that I've noticed are surfacing quite often. Questions about, are these features available to me as, an LPL advisor, for instance? And so I just wanted to draw attention to the fact that your account owner can go to their compliance tab to review everything that's been configured by your parent account. Um, if you're not the account owner, oh, thanks. Juliet's showing us right there where you can go to do that. So you can click on that compliance and it will show you for your parent account what all of the feature restrictions are for you. So that's how you can answer for yourself if you're an account owner, what's available to you. You can also reach out to your internal compliance team and ask them and advocate to them and say, hey, I know that Jump offers this feature. This would be really helpful to me for these reasons. Is it going to be possible for us to have access to that? And then the third and last thing that you can do is you can email help@jumpapp.com. That's jumpapp.com, and ask us, and we can look it up for you. So, yeah, just one thing question about features that are accessible to you personally. Um, that help@jumpapp.com is as Juliet said, is a really great email just to have at your fingertips. We have a really wonderful support team, as she mentioned, and they can help you with some of these questions if you feel like something is not getting answered today. I'll also mention there's some questions here, Juliet, about the forms and about customization. So maybe you could review that just one more time. How can people customize some of these things? How can they get access to some of these templates that you've been showing here today? How can they get that created for their own accounts?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start by looking at like ways that you can access specific templates or customize for yourself. And then I'll very briefly describe how you can apply those templates to other people on your team. And so you're going to go to profile and settings and then user settings. And then if you want to set up any custom templates, this all happens here on this page. So if you want to customize how your meeting notes look, and the examples that I've given around Jump can draft legacy letters or financial plan drafts, that's all going to live under this kind of meeting note type, I guess, or meeting note record in Jump. You're just kind of repurposing the meeting note for other jobs to be done. And so, but this is the place that you'll start. And for the most part, when you create a Jump account and you have a full seat, so you're not a light user, you'll have a couple different templates by default. And so you can go, make edits to those default templates, and then you can also make new templates from scratch if you'd prefer. And so this is where all that happens. So you can create a new template here, for example, and get started on making any potential edits. And so I'll discard this real quick. But yeah, the same is true for customizing your meeting notes, Jump's recap emails. I didn't even have time to cover the recap emails that Jump can draft for you, but this all can be customized here. And the same goes for customizing forms. So you can create forms here. And if you don't see the forms template available, then you'll know that you don't have onboard on your account, and you can change that. We would be happy to help add that product to your account. So yeah, I'll pause there on like the customizing for yourself. If you are an account owner, then you'll know that you're an account owner if you can see these compliance and account settings here. And if you're not an account owner, you can find someone in your firm who is. And if you want to apply any templates to other members of your team, that can be done here in the user configurations page. I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about it because it only applies to account owners, but you can apply any templates that you set up to additional members of your team. It could be everyone, it could be just a handful. And so if you're like, oh, I've got a really great template I really like and I want to share with the rest of my team, then this is where you would do that. And we can send some additional instructions for how to do that in the chat or elsewhere. So yeah, I'll pause there. Good question.
Wonderful. We only have a few open questions in the Q&A. Juliet, you're welcome to, if there's something else that you see as you're perusing, you're welcome to answer. Another thing that I saw come up a couple times is questions about specific integrations. And I know that some of you have had your specific questions answered. We currently have, 40 plus integrations, which are available. The ones that are publicly available right now are on our marketing site, and Juliet is navigating right here into an account to show you the integrations that can be set up in the account. So maybe, Juliet, if you could just talk, maybe instead of specific integrations that people are asking about in the chat and the Q&A, generally, how can you find whether an integration is available and how can you add it to your account?
Yeah, yeah. So you'll start by going to profile and settings here, and then user settings. And then you'll click on the integrations tab right here. And this will show the entire suite of integrations that are available to you. And so because this is a demo account, I'm actually not able to add integrations like on behalf of this demo account, um, but I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see. But yeah, we've got a lot of options. I really recommend integrating if you use like a voice over internet protocol phone system, like a VoIP, like a Ring Central or Dialpad or any other. I really highly recommend connecting that. Jump can be a great assistant when it comes to capturing phone calls in the same way that you can capture a video call or an in-person meeting. I also really recommend connecting. I mean, hopefully you have your CRM connected, but if you don't already, I really recommend doing that. And then I also recommend connecting any financial planning software or your Black Diamond or Orion or Asset Map, anything that might be relevant there, because the more you have connected, the more Jump can update, and also the more Jump can pull from as context for pre-meeting prep and for filling out forms and things like that. And so even if you're and we have really excellent help docs for each of these integrations, kind of describes what they can do, what they have access to. And so if you have questions about, or if your compliance team has questions about what Jump is doing with that data, we've got a lot of great resources that kind of walk through those questions. And so but I really recommend. And what's nice, what's helpful to know is that if there's anything that you're looking for that you want to integrate with that you don't see yet, I really recommend submitting a feature request, or you can always check with our support team to see if that feature is, or if that integration is available to be connected with, or if it's restricted by your broker dealer or company or for some reason. So we're always happy to answer questions about what's available in Jump and what's coming soon.
Awesome, Juliet. One more question in the Q&A. Maybe we'll finish with this as Brittany and Audrey are finishing up those last questions. Will asks in the Q&A, can you go into more of the items you can do without a meeting scheduled? You went into the contact section and pulled up a contact. He's asking if maybe you can take us through a few more use cases like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me find a good person to pull from here. So there's a couple things in here that are, uh, you know, maybe not yet available on the Meet plan or available on other plans. But yeah, I'll say a great example is kind of these client reports. And so this is something that is intended to be client facing and can be generated from past meetings that you've had and also like just other connected software. But this is something that can pull together and kind of really put in a succinct way all the value that you've delivered to that client over the past year, for example. And so the one I'm generating right now is an annual client report. So this is really this is demonstrating like here's all the things that you asked me to do and here's the ways that I delivered. And so it really serves as kind of a year in review. You know, here's all of the value that I've provided to this client. And it's intended to be client facing. And so I'll let this generate for a minute. But we don't have a ton of data for our friend Ben Wyatt here, but you know, it does do a great job of pulling out like here's just like the year in review, like very, very high level. And you can customize this in the same way that you can customize your pre-meeting prep to pull from different sources and excuse me, pull from different sources and follow like the you know the template that you want. And so I would say this is the biggest benefit of having of initiating tasks from or initiating work from the context tab is this is you have all of the context at your fingertips here. So you can pull from all past meetings and all pre-meeting prep from all time. I will say also we also make it possible to initiate a meeting from this contact tab. And so if you don't have a meeting scheduled with this person, but you're like, oh, I do actually, you know, I want to make sure that I'm, you know, capturing any audio that might be relevant, then you can do that here. I think a great use case for this is we often see people use Jump not only as a note taker for meetings, but a dictation tool outside of meetings. So if you know, maybe you're having an internal meeting about, you know, we've got some upcoming plans for Ben Wyatt. Here's what we want to make sure that we get accomplished for him, or here's some goals. Then you can capture the audio from that. And it's not necessarily a meeting with Ben, but it's a meeting about Ben. And you can capture that audio in the same way that you would capture any other Jump meeting. And so, yeah, lots of different cool examples there. But yeah, I mean, I really recommend taking full advantage of this context page. And I also recommend if you have any questions or need any help doing like an initial import of contacts, I also recommend reaching out to our support team. Most of the importing experience should be fairly seamless and quick, but you know, we can do a lot to accommodate any sort of custom setup you might have in your connected integrations. And so yeah, so if you hit any walls, it's not the end of the world. We can most likely solve it for you and pretty quickly.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Juliet. That was so comprehensive, and you're such a great advocate for our product and for our clients. And we're so grateful to all of you for showing up today. This recording will be sent out to you by the end of the day. Anybody who registered for this webinar will be receiving a recording of this. And so if you didn't get your question answered, again, please write to help@jumpapp, jumpapp.com, and they'll be able to help you directly. And hopefully you found something valuable from this today and new ways to integrate Jump into your pre-meeting, during meeting, and post-meeting experiences with your clients. So again, thank you to Juliet. Thank you to all of you for showing up. We hope to see you at another Jump webinar in the future. Thank you.
Thanks all. Appreciate it.